Welcome, dear participants, to the Q&A session. My name is Günter Reichert, and I will be the moderator for the Q&A session. Before we start with the questions, I would like to make a few announcements. Please feel free to ask your questions in the chat on this webcast platform, so I will be able to pass them on to our speakers and experts. For the participants in China and Japan, I would like to mention, you saw in the previous presentations, all the presentations with subtitles. Unfortunately, in our Q&A session, we will not have Chinese and Japanese subtitles. If you encounter any language barriers, please submit your questions in the chat, and we will respond to you via email. Alternatively, you can wait until January, when we will publish the recording of the session along with transcriptions in both Japanese and Chinese. So let's now start with the first question. The first question goes to Uwe. And as I have heard, that the AUTOSAR specifications are now available as AR-XML. Is this right? And where do I find the R-XML?
Yeah, that's correct. So we have a documentation model within the meta model, and this documentation model is so expressive that it can also contain everything that is needed for an AUTOSAR specification. If you go to the release folder in Subversion, you will find for each platform, you will find the folder release documentation, and in there is a zip archive in which all the AR-XMLs are contained.
Okay, thank you. Next question goes to Michael. Can APLite partners get the source code of APD?
Thank you very much for the question, Günther, and to the audience. So the Associate Partner Lite program is referring to documents in the AUTOSAR work, and at the moment there is no plan to make the AUTOSAR Adaptive Platform Demonstrator available via the Associate Partner Lite program.
Good, thank you. Next question goes to Pavel. What is the cost, flexibility, and independence that were mentioned as benefits of the automotive API when considering real-time communication?
Okay, so actually, we believe that the cost of it is limited because some of the actions are mainly performed in the time of, let's say, compile time, because this mapping we prepared in the using AUTOSAR methodology, or we expect to use somehow methodology, and later maybe it will have some laggage in communication, but even in the experimental document, we pointed that we are using BISS protocol, which is text-based protocol. So it shall not be used in the situation when it is time critical to use it. Mm-hmm. But still, it will be verified in the validation process, because even at this moment it is published as far as I know as a draft of the document, because it isn't validated yet. So we're just waiting for benchmarking.
Okay. So, Pavel, even the next question goes to you. VSS mapping is a common approach. What is the specific revolution of the automotive API?
Actually, I think that we can look on it that at this moment, each OEM or the vehicle manufacturer has probably his own solution how to map, if only how to map the VSS to its internal network. But with the automotive API, you can do such thing not as a proprietary OEM solution, but it can be a part of AUTOSAR platform, which maybe limits cost of it and maintenance of it. And what is new is that automotive API provide this information via VISS protocol, which is open and publicly available. So I think that it is evolution or revolution of the automotive API, that we have finally at the northbound of the vehicle some publicly available protocol which can be used to interact with the vehicle.
Okay. Now, even the next question goes to you. What are the differences between the automotive API and signal to service?
I think that they are operating on slightly different maybe layers, because with the signal to service mapping, basically we try to interact between adaptive and classic world. On the other hand, with the automotive API, we would like to provide mentioned earlier VISS protocol and use VSS, which has already defined semantics, how we can understand this data, and it is finally mapped to the Aracon behavior, and it can take benefits from the signal to service mapping, let's say.
Thank you. The next question goes to Michael. I think it's related to Nadim's presentation. What is the threat safety issue that was mentioned in the presentation about adaptive platform stabilization?
The main topic here is that threat safety has been made mandatory for all of the APIs of the Atlas Adaptive Platform, also including the callback, which means before this was not the case for all of the APIs. So this is the background between this bullet point of the presentation of Nadim.
Okay. Then the next question goes to Uwe. What are the challenges and future milestones for the proposed new approach to the machine configuration on the adaptive platform?
Yeah, the most important challenge is obviously what we have created here is a revolution. It's not an evolutionary step, and this needs to be embraced in the field. So tool vendors, stack vendors have to pick it up. OEMs have to decide, yes, this is the better approach. We want to use it. And like I mentioned, this will take time. It will be necessary to get used to it and then make the switch. And regarding the milestone, I would say that, as mentioned in the presentation, there's one major milestone when we reach 100% coverage of APMC for the entire target configuration on the adaptive platform. That's the point towards we are working. And when this is reached, we will see what other challenges we are presented with.
Okay, so even the next question goes to you. You mentioned that in the course of the new approach to machine configuration, the TPS manifest may be discontinued. What's the design cost for the modularity?
Well, I don't really understand the term design cost, so I have to speculate to some extent. But as I mentioned before, the document is not going to be deleted without a replacement. So what we will have is, we will have two documents. One document will cover the design aspect, and one document is already covering the target configuration aspect. And this was actually the plan from the beginning. When we started with the adaptive platform, we had the task to create a number of documents, but we came to the conclusion that it's better to create one bucket in which we can throw everything. And at some point in time later, we would be able to separate the different topics in the document and then discontinue this bucket document and have more documents that have a specific content and a specific focus on specific content. In this case, it's design and target configuration.
Okay, thank you. Next question goes to Philip. Can you please tell the name of the open source tool used for the feature graph?
Okay. The tool we've been using is called FreePlane. It's actually a mind mapping tool available open source. I'm going to post the URL in the chat where you can find it. There you will find a link to SourceForge where you can finally get it. It's a quite flexible tool, and we've been using it to model the feature graph.
Okay, I think so. People can find in the chat now the link, and so she can look on the appropriate page to find this tool. So the next question goes to Michael. Will AUTOSAR's code be open sourced? What does the initial version of the code contain? Who will lead the contribution?
So I suppose the question has been asked in the context of the announcement that we want to do an AUTOSAR open implementation, or we want to enable an AUTOSAR open implementation in the market. So this is our plan. Yeah. So what does this mean? The current AUTOSAR adaptive demonstrator code is considered AUTOSAR work. Therefore, AUTOSAR itself cannot decide to publish it open source. Only the IP holders, so the writers of the source code, can do that. So we will look into if those will agree. Yeah, and depending on that, there will be some kind of initial version of the code or not. And who will lead the contribution? The plan is basically that the AUTOSAR open framework, we have a tight coupling to AUTOSAR. So the intention here is that we have some personnel that supports the community, similar like technical managers, who will then basically coordinate activities around this kind of project.
Mm-hmm. Even the next question goes to you. Will the activities of working group APDI and working group APST shift from APD to AUTOSAR open framework?
This is a very good question that comes up from time to time. We haven't finally answered that entirely. So I would assume that for the moment there is activities that will continue until we have set up this AUTOSAR open framework in DI and ST. And similar activities will be necessary also in the AUTOSAR open framework, but there are no detailed plans yet how we will do this concretely, as we at the moment doing everything to set up the legal framework and all of the different other aspects to make the collaboration possible. But rest assured that we will inform the participants of the working group DI and working group ST on adaptive platform in time, so that we can have also their contributions being considered in the future in the overall AUTOSAR setup.
Oh, and even the next questions to come are all going to you. So let's start with the next one. Is AUTOSAR planning to introduce time sync for LIN communications?
So this is a very technical question. In general, the approach of AUTOSAR is that we follow the market need. So if an AUTOSAR partner is proposing a concept, and such a concept could be time sync for LIN communication, then this is evaluated if there are enough partners or enough market need to implement that concept. And every company that is interested in making this a reality in AUTOSAR is invited to follow the concept process and bring this inside AUTOSAR.
The next question is dealing with the AUTOSAR R24-11 says that the end-to-end wrapper solution will be suspended. Why? Legacy solutions are based on the wrapper solution.
That is a very technical question. I have to defer and give back to the work package because I'm not aware about what has been the rationales behind that. And therefore, unfortunately, I cannot give you the reasoning behind.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Probably we can deliver an answer later on.
Yes, we will look into this.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure. Well, next question again goes to you. Why are the specifications of the EEPROM driver and flash driver marked obsolete in R24-11?
I would have to apologize to give the same answer than to the question before.
Okay, again,
there are
so
technical reasons in the work package, and we can look that up, what has been the rationale behind that, but I'm not aware about them at the top of my head. Sorry about that.
I think we give it to the experts and it will be answered later on.
Yes.
So we will find answers later. Again, the latest RTOP package be available?
So we are in the phase of getting everybody's agreement to publish the RTOP package on the AUTOSAR website. And once this agreement is basically available for all of the top contributors in the past, we will be able to do that. We are in the final phase, the last companies in contact, and we hope this will still be the case in 2024, latest early 2025.
Thank you very much and have a nice day.